let's get right into it. On the crowded streets of Delhi, there's a serious conflict playing out every single day. And it's not just a news story, it's this really emotional clash between the need for public safety and, well, an animal's right to survive. We're talking about a city and its people at a major crossroads.
Take a look at this number, 2,000. Any guesses what that is? That is the estimated number of dog bites reported in the Delhi metro area. Every single day. That's not just some statistic, that's a painful, daily reality for a lot of people.
So a number like that, you know it's going to get a response, right? The sheer scale of this problem has pushed it from a neighborhood issue into a full-blown crisis, one that's demanding action from the highest levels of government.
With public fear really growing, especially for kids and the elderly, the pressure just kept building and building until it landed right at the top with India's Supreme Court. And they felt they had to do something. They didn't just offer advice, they handed down a massive, sweeping order meant to tackle this safety crisis head-on.
But public opinion wasn't just being driven by numbers. It was things like this, a video that went viral showing a stray dog actually turning on the person who was trying to help it. That kind of thing adds a really personal and, frankly, shocking element to the whole debate, and it just fueled the calls for something drastic to be done.
So what was this drastic solution? Well, the court laid out a mandate that was really clear, really decisive, and, almost immediately, incredibly divisive. It was a complete pivot from how the city had been handling its stray animals for years.
Here's what the court ordered. Capture, sterilize, vaccinate, and, this is the part that changes everything, permanently house every single stray dog. That little phrase, no release back to the streets, that was a radical break from decades of existing policy.
And believe me, this wasn't some vague suggestion. It was a high-pressure to-do list with a crazy tight deadline. Authorities were ordered to set up helplines, get vaccine stocks in order, build new shelters with staff and cameras, all while sending in daily progress reports. And if anyone got in the way, they'd face legal action. It put this immense pressure on the city's resources overnight.
Now, here's where it gets complicated. This new court order directly clashes with the national policy that was already in place. It's called Sterilize, Vaccinate, Return, or SVR. That method is widely seen as the more scientific and humane way to go. You manage stray populations by keeping them in stable, vaccinated territories.
So there you have it. It's a head-on collision. On one side, you've got this court order born out of a very real public safety crisis, and on the other, you have existing animal welfare laws that are based on scientific population control.
Of course, this conflict set off a huge counter-reaction. Critics started asking some pretty tough questions, not just about the ethics of the whole thing, but about its basic practicality. I mean, is this plan even physically possible?
And this is the core of that question. Just look at the raw numbers. The estimated stray dog population in Delhi is somewhere around 1 million. The current capacity for shelters and sterilization? About 2,500. The numbers just don't add up. It shows you the staggering scale of this logistical nightmare.
Beyond the sheer numbers, there's a serious scientific argument against the plan. It's called the vacuum effect. Experts are warning that if you remove an entire population of stable, sterilized dogs, you just create a void. And that void gets filled really quickly by new dogs from other areas, dogs that are often unvaccinated. So ironically, the plan could actually make the public health problem worse.
So you've got the practical problems, right? The numbers, the science. But then there's this whole other side to the backlash, and this one is all about ethics. The court's orders sparked a real outcry from activists, politicians, and everyday people who are looking at this as a crisis of compassion.
The politician and activist Maneka Gandhi really cut to the chase with this quote. It's so powerful because it wraps up the practical argument, the lack of space, with the huge ethical question of what happens when a government is ordered to do something that seems, well, impossible.
In the same vein, politician Priyanka Gandhi's words really get to the emotional core of the opposition. For a lot of people, this isn't about statistics at all. It's about what they see as a state-sanctioned act of cruelty against animals that can't speak for themselves.
And the animal welfare groups? They're using even stronger language. They're calling the order inhumane and warning that because there's nowhere for the dogs to go, it's effectively a death warrant for thousands of them.
So, when you put it all together, you realize this isn't a simple problem with a clear fix. It's a true quandary, a really complex dilemma with passionate, valid arguments on both sides. The city is being forced to find a path between two competing and very powerful moral duties.
So, let's just break this down real quick. The goal? Public safety. Can't argue with that. The order from the court? Remove and shelter all the strays. The challenge? Well, as we've seen, it's a huge logistical and legal mess.
And the reaction? A massive pushback based on arguments of cruelty and impracticality.
Faced with this absolute firestorm of controversy, the Delhi government seems to be tapping the brakes. They've come out and promised to move forward with empathy and talk to everyone involved before they try to actually implement this plan, which is basically an admission of how complicated this whole thing is.
And just when you think it couldn't get any messier, there's another layer. This isn't just a two-sided debate. There are accusations flying around about money, with some suggesting that the motives of everyone from NGOs to the vaccine industry are complicating the search for a real solution.
Which leaves us right here, with this one final fundamental question. When two core values like compassion and public safety crash into each other head-on, who gets to decide which one wins? There really is no easy answer, and for the people and the dogs of Delhi, the stakes couldn't possibly be higher.